could see it one by one and have a state of continuous repetitive episodes of laughter over 5 to 10 minutes. It was called status epilepticus. Sadly, didn't work out, and I am finally performing it here. I did rehearse this set to a lot of people, and one consistent review which kept on coming was, JK, jokes are okay, but the main problem, the main burning issue is your delivery, just like Amazon. Some people were even more specific. Don't tell your sentences properly, deliver them properly and fully. You're eating up your own words, swallowing your sentences. Makes me feel so much like a Swiggy delivery guy, dude. I was thinking about it a lot, wondering what I could do to improve my delivery skills. And then I finally saw a television ad. And then I finally realized that I had to do absolutely nothing. I hope I get 5-star reviews now. But now internship has ended and I'm much more confident about my delivery skills. My last posting was in OG. And during labor room postings, our residents made sure that all of us conducted deliveries on a daily basis. From Hotel Kartik, of course. Okay. Thanks, guys. Probably the first joke in the set to get a laugh from most of you. Very encouraging. Have you ever noticed how OG as a department is so encouraging? Not just to delivering murders, but also to us. During my very first labor room night duty, CLR was very busy. And the resident delivered the baby, delivered the placenta, and just told me, you just finished suturing it. I was so scared. I just watched videos of suturing. I'd never sutured on a live person before. And I was so scared. What if I just end up damaging it? What if bleeding doesn't stop? And so on. It was a very busy labor room. They were taking up so many people for emergency sections. But still, the residents made sure that I was being encouraged. They would be at the very end of the room, but still, whenever I was taking a bite, tying a knot, I would hear them shouting at the top of their voice, just so that I could hear them. Nice one, nice one. Guess I should terminate the segment right now. Now that internship has ended and most of us will be leaving Pondy at least for some time, I'm sure we'll all miss a lot of things about Pondy. One common thing which a lot of people will miss about is food. I'm sure you all have your favorite restaurants and so on, but the places which I enjoyed eating the most and will miss the most are all within the campus. EMS canteen, SSB canteen, and for those of you who know me, the canteen which was inside Tinkers Park. But one eatery which can never compete with any of these is the one which FNC used to put up every year. Nice shout out. And I practically lived my first few Spandans inside the mess. So just before our first Spandan, our DSK seniors used to frighten us a lot, saying that you'll have to be inside the campus, inside the mess for the entire Spandan. You can't go home and all that. I was naive enough to believe that. And I told this to my parents, hoping that they would find a way for me to escape or at least comfort me. Next thing they did, they packed up all my dresses and booked themselves a 7-day tour to Varanasi. So I was there, and the time spent there, I did realize a lot of things. One of the things which I realized by being within FNC mess was that in spite of the many ways in which the government could be criticized, there is one thing which they did correctly and need to be appreciated for. That was for introducing the Swachh Bharat mission. Because you see, Indians in general are very much like an FNC committee. Whenever we go together, wherever we go together, we all end up creating a wonderful mess. Do you remember during our second year, 2K16 made this superhero teamed mess? I was eating there a lot. And then I realized that I myself was on the verge of becoming a superhero myself. A fat man. No, little boys, this is not a joke about creating bombs. So me and Sandeep were very worried that we were becoming fat day by day. So we had this plan to make ourselves more fit. We had this plan to run around the JIPMER stadium a couple of rounds every day. But then this plan never materialized. Whenever I was free and called him, he would be somehow busy. And the plan never was executed. So much that even after 4.5 years, it's still a running joke between us. But I guess I do have a great power, and that only keeps increasing day by day. Right now it's around minus 9.75 on my right eye and minus 10 in my left. And it keeps changing so frequently that I can't even remember my exact power. When people ask me randomly, I just give them a random number between minus 9 and minus 10. I guess I could be called a Power Ranger now. And I know that joke was below average, but at least I wasn't being mean. So please don't disperse yet. And a nice aside, since we are talking about statistics, isn't it kind of weird that for any drug to be approved, there have to be studies supporting it, and these studies need to have a very low p-value, even if it is a diuretic? I'm sure you didn't see that coming. But one thing which none of us saw coming was the year 2020, even those with perfect vision. And do you remember the early days of the pandemic when the admin had instructed all departments to take precautions to conduct classes, like conducting classes in small groups and so on? I think there was this one department, I think it's pathology, which had a very unique way of having their practical classes. So all batches were split into two halves. One half would be on each side of the resident. For about half of the class, the residents would just be looking at one batch, the other people just seeing their back, and then it would reverse. Never made any sense to me until I realized that we are trying to make coronal sections. And okay, so during the 17th century in Great Britain, there was a lockdown because of the plague. All universities were closed, and the story goes that Isaac Newton discovered gravity during that lockdown. I'm sure we know what we all did. But there is something which I can tell proudly that I did during the lockdown. For almost 2 weeks, I spent most of my time tracing contacts. That is the most irritating part about switching from iPhone to Android. But the thing which we both had in common was that both of it involved a falling apple. But now I'm happy that I don't have to deal with that 16 GB iPhone now. Out of those 16 GBs, about 9.8 GB was unusable. It was classified as other and I could just not use it. That was the gravity of the situation. And see, each and every time there was a message, a document in the group which I had to download. Every time I wanted to see some video or anything, I had to first clear out some space, which was very irritating because even though I've never been in a relationship, almost daily I had to deal with a significant other. And just a quick question for people who have been in multiple relationships. After you guys break up, do you ever draw graphs with X and Y axis? Okay, fine. Okay, so the sad thing, a life lesson which life keeps teaching us is that things, people or events simply don't turn out the way we expect them to be. I'm sure all of us in MBBS final year were just waiting for internship to end, internship to come to. In the middle of internship floor duties, I'm sure all of us wished for internship to end. And now that internship has ended, we are still having to face a huge sense of emptiness, filled with uncertainty about the future and just marrow and revision books, review books as they call it. I never understood what review books were in my first year. I thought it would be so strange, you know. Why would anyone read a book just to get a review of the subject? I could give one in just few lines. For example, ophthalmology is a very interesting subject, 6/6. Or obstetrics is a very easy to understand subject. It's just kidding. Or I try to make a joke about orthopedics, but everything in it is highly classified. So, but I guess this sense of emptiness, this sense of disappointment that we face whenever we have expectations is not something that's unique to us. It's such a universal thing. So much that my guess is that when God created this universe, He was so disappointed after creating the solar system and seeing how depressing it is. That's probably why He gave the entire solar system just one star. Thanks a lot, people. That was the end of Profunda humoris.